Why are you running for office?
I'm running for office because I believe that the number one issue facing our area is the need to grow the economy and to create jobs. I mean, we really are at a critical time in our history right now, and if we're going to avoid getting hit with the economic deflation facing the rest of the country, we need to make sure that up here in Northern Virginia, and in the whole state of Virginia for that matter, we have the most competitive pro-jobs environment in the country. And the way we do that, we keep taxes low, we simplify regulations, we properly invest in our infrastructure, be it transportation or be it education. And that means keeping more of our tax dollars up here. I think there's a need for that type of leadership right now in the Virginia State Senate, and I want to be that independent voice for Northern Virginia in the General Assembly. And that's why I decided to do this and get involved.
Tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, I'm a graduate of the Virginia Military Institute. I'm a former presidential management fellow and went into government and was a senior official in the Department of Homeland Security. I'm a Coast Guard officer. I teach at George Washington University, and I've been pretty involved with the Fairfax County public school systems as a member of the Textbook Selection Committee and the Superintendent's Business and Advisory Council. That's a little bit about my background. And I moved into the district when I was 18 years old in the Westover part of our new 32nd Senate District.
I read you spent time in Nepal and that you're the Fulbright Chair in North American Studies. Can you tell us about that?
Issues of human rights and the issues facing underserved communities are something that's always been very important to me. I had the opportunity to live in Taiwan, to live in China, and to live in a couple different countries that were emerging markets, emerging economies, where human rights weren't fully realized. And when I decided to go into the federal government, my first position was as an asylum officer. As an asylum officer on a daily basis, I got to work with people who were seeking the protection of the U.S. government because they had been persecuted on behalf of, or because of their political opinion or a particular characteristic that they had. And so every day I was in a position to possibly help them and give them that protection from a life where they would be harmed, where they would be further persecuted. So for me, that's a world of interest and work that I wanted to pursue. Unfortunately, my job let me go to Nepal and work in the refugee camps in the south, where the Loshampa population has been for 18 years. And I decided to kind of focus some of my academic work on protracted refugee situations, which are people who have been in camps for a very long time and don't have other durable solutions at their disposal. And the Fulbright program was very kind to me, and they asked me to be the North American chair. And I went up to Canada, the University of Alberta, and for this year I've done lecturing and research on this issue and trying to find ways that the U.S. and Canada can partner to better target these protracted refugee populations and provide them a good, durable solution.
Your opponent has been in office for over 20 years. Isn't that good to have seniority for the district?
Our founding fathers never wanted us to have a permanently elected official. And I think there's something to be said for a new perspective, a fresh voice, and a different approach to issues. It's human nature that when you do something for a really long time, you kind of become part of that establishment. And my opponent, I believe, has become part of that establishment. And I'd like to see someone in there who doesn't always vote along party lines and who can stand up for Northern Virginia, who understands that we're in a changed economy. We're in an internet-based economy, a global economy, and that we need to have new, innovative solutions in order to tackle those new and modern challenges and modern problems. So I think we need to have some fresh blood, a new perspective, an independent voice in there who can understand those new problems.
You talk about the economy. What do you think we need to do here in Northern Virginia to grow that local economy and to create more jobs for the district?
We have to start with understanding that we need the most competitive pro-jobs environment in the region, in the country for that matter, in order to compete. If we're going to compete here in Northern Virginia with the likes of China and some of these other emerging markets and emerging economies, we need to be lean. We need to be ready to get out there. That means keeping taxes low. That means simplifying regulations. That means bringing industries here that aren't here right now but will help us be part of that competitive global economy, such as high-tech manufacturing or call center capability. I have a jobs plan that focuses on those industries and recruiting them to Virginia so we can get out in front of that market and have a larger stake in those growing industries. Another thing is research and development, biomedical. George Mason University is in our district. Per student, we actually get less funding at George Mason for research and development than they do at Virginia Tech or UVA. It's an outstanding world-class facility. Let's increase that research and development funding, bring in biomedical, utilize George Washington's University out in Loudoun County for research and development, and really make this a high-tech biomedical hub, a hub to repatriate businesses that are involved in highly complex manufacturing and bring them to this area.
How do you plan on helping small business and the startups?
One of the things I want to do is have a 5-year moratorium on the business professional occupancy licensing tax. So basically what it would do is when a new business starts in Virginia, for those first 5 years, they don't have to pay that oppressive tax. That tax was founded and placed on blacksmiths to fund the War of 1812. That war's been over for 199 years. So let's go ahead, roll that back a little bit, and give small businesses some breathing room for that 5-year period. And I think that'll go a long way in helping those small and medium-sized businesses in our area.
Do you support taxing internet sales?
Absolutely not. And this is an area where you can really draw a contrast between my opponent and myself. I fully understand that we are in the internet-based economy and we are in a global economy. It's incredibly mobile. Industry can leave. Internet-based businesses can move around. And so if you place a tax on internet transactions in the state of Virginia, those people are just going to leave. They're going to go to Maryland. They're going to go to D.C. They're going to go to other places. It's a tempting source of additional revenue. But if you understand how the process works, if you understand how this new economy works, you realize that it's not sustainable and all you're doing is pushing those businesses out and with them, all those jobs. So no, I don't.
What differentiates you from your opponent on economic issues?
I think we just have fundamentally different approaches to this. Northern Virginia is one of the principal economic drivers of this state and such a great source of wealth creation and innovation for the state and our area. I firmly believe that we need to keep more of our taxpayer dollars here in Northern Virginia in order to continue to innovate and continue to grow. I don't believe in sending such a disproportionately large segment of our tax dollars down to Richmond to be sent in other places. I want to keep them up here. We are in the middle of a really, really tough economic time, and we have a tough mountain to climb to get over it. And Northern Virginia is the engine that will drive this state. We need to fuel that engine. We need to make sure we have enough fuel to get over the economic mountain and innovate and create and bring the rest of the state along with us into avoiding that economic situation.
What's your opponent's record on economic growth?
Over her 20 years in the Virginia State Senate, she really hasn't missed many opportunities to increase taxes or to increase spending in our state, and specifically on Northern Virginia. For example, in 2008, at the peak of the financial crisis in this country, she supported raising the gas tax. She supported raising taxes specifically on Northern Virginia in the form of the hotel occupancy tax and the retail sales tax. This is not an approach that I would have ever taken myself. This is an approach which continues to tap Northern Virginia, but we're going to get to a point, and I think we're actually at that point, where we can no longer send the vast majority of our tax dollars downstate without it having a negative impact on our area. I want to keep our dollars here. I want to have our tax dollars here to properly invest in our educational needs and our transportation needs. We have a fourth, or actually a third of the state's population now after the last census, and we need to keep more of those dollars here to help our special issues that are unique to our area.